Hi everybody, this is Celeste. I'm a nationally certified interventionist, and I'm here to talk to you today about a common question that I get, and that's why would we hire an interventionist when we can do an intervention ourselves? Um, so I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to start by explaining what an intervention is and what it does. The purpose of an intervention is to help someone that you love who's in active addiction get to treatment. So we want to get them from point A to point B. Point A being living in active addiction, point B being getting them to treatment. An intervention is basically the intermediary. That's how we get them there. So a lot of times, what happens when somebody is in active addiction, you have the support system, you have the friends, the family, the coworkers, all these people that are struggling to comprehend why this person is doing what they're doing. How come they don't realize they have a problem? Why won't they go to treatment? So and the person in active addiction has all these negative consequences in their life, and they are forcing some of their negative consequences on the people around them. So the people around them are suffering. So basically what an intervention does is gets all those people together who are being negatively impacted by the person's addiction and their addictive behaviors and all those negative consequences. I work with them. I do 6 coaching sessions with the support system. So we want to have some key people there. We want the people there that are really the influencers on this person. So, we want the spouse, the parents, the friends, the people, and especially the people that are highly enabling of this behavior, right? Because we really want to send a very clear message to this person that we're no longer going to enable you. We'll do anything there's nothing we won't do to get you sober, but there's nothing we will do to have this continue another day. So I do 6 coaching sessions with people, and what we do in these coaching sessions is I'll teach you some very simple but strategic things that you're going to say during the intervention. So this is going to be a very highly scripted process, because what happens in an intervention, especially when people do their own intervention, there tends to be a lot of judgment, there tends to be screaming and yelling, there's threatening, emotions are running high, people fumble, they get lost on their words, they stumble over their words and what they want to say. The person in active addiction will start spouting off and yelling and screaming. People lose their place in what they want to say. So this highly scripted format is super important in keeping control of the intervention. Because, obviously this is a situation that can get really out of control really quickly, and that's when you lose the person. So that's the importance of having a highly structured intervention process, because we don't want the addict to manipulate and take control back of the situation. We want them to know we're in control of this situation, and you're going to sit down, they're going to listen to what we have to say, and then they're going to make a decision. So during these coaching sessions, I will give you that highly structured format, things to say, things not to say. So there's going to be some very key things that you're going to want to say that's really going to start to pull at their heartstrings and have them really start to think about the negative consequences of their addiction, not only on them, but on their whole system, their whole support system. And there's also some very key things that we're not going to want to say. So we're not gonna want to name call. We're not gonna want to say stuff that's judgmental. We're not gonna want to get angry. We really have to keep our emotions in check, and that's part of my role during the intervention too. Is keeping those emotions in check, because it's a highly emotional process, and emotions can run high. So I'm just there to rein in the emotions. If I see that they're starting to escalate, I rein people in. Let's keep to the script and move on. So it's really important to have that person in the room that cares about the person, wants them to get to treatment, but isn't highly emotionally involved. You want to have that objective person there to really referee this thing, because you, you're only going to get one, you might only get one shot at this. And if you don't do it well, we could lose this person. So that's really why the intervention process is so important, is to have that real sense of control. Because as many of you know, people in active addiction can be master manipulators. Sometimes all they have to do is get mad and start cussing and screaming and threatening, and everybody in the room is in an uproar and they don't know what to do. So it's really important to have somebody in the room that can really keep control of what's going on and help facilitate that, because that's going to be really important. So if you feel like you know somebody that needs an intervention, I'll go through what the process is for an intervention. So you'll apply for the program, you'll apply for an intervention, and then once I get your application, we'll sit down, we'll do a 30-minute consult, because I'll need to know some basic information. I'll need to know things like the drug of choice, how long have they been using? Are they using one drug or multiple things going on? So we'll do that, and I'll get a really strong sense of where they're at. I'll want to know medical history, mental health history. I'll get a lot of information from you. I'll be asking you a lot of questions, because this is really going to go to how we're going to do the intervention process. It's really going to work to define that process, and also to the treatment program that we're going to want to get into, because a lot of treatment centers cater to different drugs of choice, different mental health concerns, different medical backgrounds, and they're staffed accordingly. So you're going to want to make sure that your person gets into the treatment center that's going to set them up for the biggest chance of success. So I'll sit down with you, I'll get all that information. We'll also talk about the key players that you're going to want to have at this intervention. And usually I would say max out at 6, and for the most part, no kids. So we don't want to have kids involved in this highly emotional process. They can send letters that they can have somebody else read, but I don't like to have children involved in this because it's too stressful for them. We'll get all those key players involved. We'll do the 6 hours of pre-intervention coaching. So we'll do 6 1-hour coaching sessions with everybody that's going to be there and on this intervention, and I will coach you through the process. I will let you know what to say, when to say it, even down to who's going to sit where. The seating plan is also quite strategic. So, and these are things that a layman that hasn't ever done an intervention isn't going to know who to put where, right? So it's very much like a game of chess, right? You're going to want to have all your key players in very key spots. So I mean, this stuff is super, super important. We'll go through the letter writing process. Everybody will write a letter. They'll read it during the intervention. After the coaching session is done, we'll do an intervention rehearsal. So I'll kind of play the part of the interventionist, and I'll also play the part of the person that they're doing the intervention on. And I'll play that devil's advocate role of, I'm not going to treatment, screw you guys, I don't know what you're talking about, you're the one with the problem. So I'll play that role, and I'll really, give you that resistance that, you feel is going to come up during that intervention, right? So that you can get practice. When that person starts making all that noise and causing a ruckus, how are you going to react? Because it's important to have that practice. Then we'll do the actual intervention. So we will, and this is going to be a surprise to them. We don't want to let them know that this intervention is coming, right? We don't want to let them know that they're being invited to their own hanging. So we'll plan the intervention, we'll do the intervention, and then we'll have the treatment center all pre-arranged so that when we get them to the point where they say, yes, I'll go, they just go, right? We want to have their stuff packed, we want to have bags packed. They're not going to want to have an excuse to go home and potentially use and run off. So we're going to want to have stuff packed for them. They're going to say yes and go, right? Because we don't want to give them the opportunity to change their mind. So we'll take them to that intervention, or after the intervention, we'll take them to treatment. I'll get them into treatment. make sure they're all sorted out, they got the treatment okay, and then I'll stick around in the area where, like around the area of the treatment center. I'll get a hotel there, stay there for 24 hours, and I'll check in. I'll make sure they're okay, because that first 24 hours can be a little sketchy, because sometimes they get there and go, oh shit, what have I done? And they want to bolt, right? So I stick around to make sure that they're not going to bolt, and if they want to, I'll check in with them, I'll talk them down, I'll talk them off that ledge, make sure they stay in treatment. So that's the intervention process. So in the caption, I posted the link to my website and also to the application. You can go there, you can get more information. If you want more information on the intervention